Hi, I'm James, and I am the Masi brand ambassador in Western Canada. Masi Agricola has history going back over 200 years to the late 1700s, and they're located in the Veneto, which is the area of northeast Italy that includes Venice and Verona and that general area. So traditionally, Masi has been known for the traditional red wines of the Veneto, things like Valpolicella and Amarone. However, the most common wine that is now produced in the Veneto is something called Prosecco. And for years, Masi would say that they were a red wine company and that they focused on the traditional wines. But recently, that's all changed when Masi found a partner in Valdobbiadene of one of the great Prosecco producers in Italy that formerly had not made any wines for export. But now they are in partnership with Masi. So we're pleased to announce the Modello Prosecco. And this is a great way to start a meal. Traditionally, most Prosecco, compared to traditional sparkling wine, it's a little bit fruitier in the mouth. It has a little bit more of a softer fizz, sometimes lower alcohol. It's generally a little bit easier drinking, and that's why it's been so popular with wine drinkers. The Modello Prosecco is unique in the category because it's actually fairly dry. There's about half as much sweetness to it as a lot of traditional Proseccos that are popular on the market. And this is great because it makes it a little bit easier to pair with food and also increases the refreshing nature of the wine. So I hope you enjoy the Masi Modello Prosecco. Let's talk a little bit about the traditional wines from Masi that I mentioned. And in particular, the two that we'll talk about today are the Campofiorin and the Costasera Amarone. So these are the traditional wines that Masi makes with the local varieties like Corvina, Rondinella, Molinara. And you don't see these grape varieties traditionally outside of this area because they are specifically suited for the drying process, grape drying process called the passamento. So historically, the grape growers in the Veneto would pick grapes, put them in their attic, and let them shrivel or dry for a period of time, which intensifies the flavor and adds more complexity to the wine. So the Campofiorin is unique. It first debuted in 1964, and you can see this beautiful bright red color. And Campofiorin was revolutionary because instead of just using dried grapes like Amarone, which creates a wine that's very, very rich and intense, it used the leftover grape skins of Amarone with a fresh red wine of the region called Valpolicella. And the wine re-fermented and created a wine that was perfect for everyday drinking, unlike the Amarone, which is very, very full-bodied. Campofiorin means field of flowers, and it's named after the first vineyard that was used for that first 1964 vintage. Campofiorin, you'll notice it's very savory. It has bright cherry flavors. It's very easy drinking, yet complex at the same time. It's a wine that drinks while young, but can certainly age for quite a long period of time, actually. But I often recommend it with very traditional Italian foods, especially anything with tomato in it or slow-cooked meats is a really good pairing for Campofiorin. The Costasera is made exclusively with dried grapes from high elevation sites in the Valpolicella, in the Veneto. Costasera actually means the slopes that face the sunset. And the key is the grapes grow on these trellises, and they actually receive extra sunlight because of this in the evening, yet are protected from the intense sun during the day. The wine that you get, you'll notice it's deeper than the Campofiorin, really intense perfume. You get sort of extra dimensions from the richness. The dried grapes really add all sorts of new flavors on top of, the traditional cherry flavors of the Corvina grapes in the wine. Costasera is a wine that again drinks well when it's young, but also ages magnificently for even decades after it's bottled. So I usually recommend with Costasera, when you're in the region, often it's quite hot and humid, and it's something that they would drink at the end of a meal with some cheese. But it also stands up really well to really hearty, full-flavored food. Even though Costasera is full-bodied, it still has a fresh finish to it, which is very unique That's a unique quality of the Masi Amarone. Anyways, cheers everyone. Enjoy a nice glass of Amarone.